8th grade science, chapter 1, section 4. Soil nutrients. The mineral and organic materials of the soil together supply nutrients or nourishing substances for plants. The three most important mineral nutrients for plants are nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Because plants remove these three elements, substances composed of only one type of atom, from the soil as they grow, these nutrients are called the primary plant food elements. As plants die and decompose, they add these three elements back into the soil. Fertilizer composition. Since some crops require more nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium than are naturally added to the soil, farmers and gardeners often add commercial fertilizers designed specifically to replenish the primary plant food elements. Each element may be applied separately or as a combination in a mixed fertilizer containing the three elements. In fertilizers, phosphorus is generally in the form of phosphates, a group of chemicals containing the element phosphorus bonded to oxygen and other elements. And potassium is generally found as potash, potassium oxide, a chemical consisting of two potassium atoms bonded to an oxygen atom. Nitrogen can be in any of several different nitrogen-containing chemicals. Commercial fertilizers indicate the percentages of these primary elements in alphabetical order on the package. For example, a homeowner may purchase fertilizer designed specifically for grasses. On the label, he might find the numbers 20-2. This fertilizer contains 20% nitrogen, 2% phosphates, and 2% potash. Fruit-bearing orchard trees need a 3-18-18 fertilizer, 3% nitrogen, 18% phosphates, and 18% potash. Most vegetable gardens would use a balanced 14-14-14 fertilizer. Necessary nitrogen. Nutrients in the soil affect the growth of plants. Nitrogen stimulates rapid growth of leaves, giving plants a rich green color. Its effects are obvious. Plants look strong and healthy when they have adequate nitrogen. Insufficient amounts of nitrogen will restrict growth and change leaves to a pale green or yellow color. Because nitrogen also stimulates stem growth, too much nitrogen causes the plant to grow so fast above the ground that the root system cannot absorb sufficient minerals to keep up with the plant's needs. As a result, the plant is less resistant to diseases and produces fewer fruits. Around the world, God designed a system to recycle nitrogen. In the nitrogen cycle, nitrogen is moved from the air to the soil to be used by plants, and then returned to the atmosphere to be used again. Although there is plenty of nitrogen in the air, plants cannot use the atmospheric gas until it is combined with other elements from various nitrogen compounds, substances containing atoms of two or more elements bonded together. These nitrogen compounds are formed by several means, including lightning and bacteria. In the atmosphere, energy from lightning causes nitrogen and oxygen to form nitrates that are carried to the soil by rain. In the soil, nitrogen is converted into ammonia, a basic compound of nitrogen and hydrogen, nitrates, and other nitrogen compounds by nitrogen-fixing bacteria. These bacteria get their name from the process of nitrogen fixation, which converts elemental nitrogen, like that found in the atmosphere, into nitrogen compounds. One group of nitrogen-fixing bacteria, the rhizobia, lives in the roots of legumes like alfalfa beans, clovers, and peas. These bacteria, which live in nodules or bumps on the roots of the plant, convert atmospheric nitrogen into compounds that plants can use. Dead plants and animal waste products decompose into ammonia. Ammonia is converted to nitrates by another kind of bacteria called nitrifying bacteria. Once nitrogen has been formed into nitrates, plants can absorb it from the soil and use it to make protein. Man gets the protein by eating either plants or animals that feed on the plants. Nitrogen, in the form of different compounds, often passes from plants to animals and people several times before returning to the atmosphere. Denitrifying bacteria is the soil return nitrogen Denitrifying bacteria in the soil return nitrogen to the atmosphere by converting nitrogen from nitrates into atmospheric nitrogen. Study the diagram of the nitrogen cycle above. How has God designed the cycle to provide for man's needs? Bacterial benefits. Farmers and gardeners benefit from having the proper amount of bacteria in the soil. Because legumes are rich in nitrogen and nitrogen-fixing bacteria, farmers use these plants as fertilizer in crop rotation by growing them and plowing them back into the soil while they are still green. For the best crops, a proper balance of denitrifying bacteria is also needed. Too many denitrifying bacteria will remove too much nitrogen from the soil. Because denitrifying bacteria are anaerobic, they thrive without oxygen, farmers can prevent an overabundance of denitrifying bacteria in their fields by making sure the soil has good drainage and plenty of air. Fruitful phosphorus. The element phosphorus is essential for cell division and growth and promotes plant maturation. Phosphorus is valuable to the plant when its fruit is ripening because it makes fruits firm up properly. This is especially true for cereal grains ripening and forming their fruits. One of phosphorus's key functions is energy transfer, which affects every aspect of a plant, including photosynthesis and growth. When a plant is deficient in phosphorus, the leaves may have a purplish color and plant growth will be stunted. Supplies of phosphorus occur in phosphate rocks found in many parts of the Earth's crust. The mineral apatite is the most abundant source of phosphorus. This mineral is mined in several states, including Florida, Idaho, Tennessee, and Utah. Gardeners occasionally use superphosphates, liquid fertilizers made from phosphates that have been treated with acids to give their plants an initial boost early in the growing season. Profitable potassium. Potassium's primary function is to contribute to the general health of the plant and improve disease resistance. It encourages root growth and fruit formation. Potassium gives fruits better size, flavor, and color. Potassium is also important for regulating a plant's water balance. Similar to phosphorus, an inadequate amount of potassium gives leaves a dark green color or a purple tint. In more extreme cases, the leaves may have yellow edges. Potassium informs that plants can use occurs in the ashes of burned fruits, vegetables, and grains. Since fruits, vegetables, and grains do not naturally recycle into the soil in large quantities, potassium has to be added as a fertilizer. The potassium in fertilizer comes from potassium chloride, a compound of potassium and the element chlorine, also called muriate of potash, found in the Earth's crust. Fertilizers contain potassium chloride because it is easier for plants to absorb than potash. However, fertilizer numbers are still based on the amount of potash needed to obtain the correct amount of potassium.